to another live gaming streaming video, and it's an early morning video today. And the subject of today's video is the game key cards for a Switch 2. Do you think they're good or not? So, with the Nintendo Switch, you had three ways of getting games, I suppose. Go in the store, buy a game. It came on a card, like a regular little cartridge, like you would for a DS or a Vita or whatever. And that was it. You bought it, you took it home, you put it in your Switch, and you played it. Then you had obviously the eShop, where you would just go onto the eShop and purchase your games, download them onto your Switch. They're tied to your Switch account. You had a third option, I suppose, where you would go to a store, buy a game with a case, but there was no cartridge inside. It was a bit of paper with a digital code on that you'd go to the eShop and redeem. And then that's it, really. And then when we brought the Switch 2 out, you've got this whole new thing called game key cards, and it's caused a little bit of a stir in the gaming world with Switch fans. So with Switch 2, you go to a shop, you buy a game, it's in there, you take it home, you put it in your Switch, and you play it. Then you've got your digital download option, where you buy a game, there's no game in it, just a code. Or you've got your eShop option, where you just go to the eShop and browse, buy, and then it installs on your Switch too. But you've also got this new thing called game key cards. So you go to a shop, you buy a game, you open the case, it does have a little cartridge in. It looks slightly different to regular Switch 2 cartridges. I think it's got a little key or a little magnifying glass up in the corner. And you pop it in your Switch. But the game isn't actually on the cartridge. It's just got a small amount of data to basically tell you or tell your system what the game is. And as soon as you pop it in, it downloads the game from wherever. And that has caused a lot of faff in the Switch 2 world, because is it necessary? What is it? It's physical, but it's not. I can't think really of an example that this has happened before on other systems. Obviously, whenever you buy a game for whatever system, there's generally these days an update. So you put your game in, it's a small game, and then there's this whopping great big update. But technically, you don't have to do that. If you have no internet connection, you could just play the game that came straight off of disc or cartridge. But these game key cards, they've annoyed a lot of people. It's almost like a physical version of the download code that you would get in Switch games. But there is a slight difference, and this is something that sparked this video off, because I looked at these as if, well, yeah, I wasn't very impressed with them to start with. I remember going to a shop and I saw a game in there. I didn't really pay much attention to it. I just wanted the game for my Switch, that is. And when I got it home, I opened it up, and it was one of these download codes. It actually says download code only on the front of the case. Never seen that before, and I was a bit disappointed. It's nice because you've got a physical case. I'm a bit old school. I do like to have a selection of games on a shelf, and that's one thing with buying everything off an eShop. You don't have anything physical to represent your game collection. And these download code Switch games are, you get a case, but you don't get nothing in it. And you do get a little nice case to put on the shelf. The same with these game key card things. You get a nice case. You do actually get a physical something cartridge, but it doesn't contain very much information. It doesn't contain the game. You then have to go and download it. But the one thing that is saving grace about these game key cards, and it's something I learned recently is that they're not tied to an account. Uh, it doesn't link itself to your Nintendo account. Obviously, if you buy it off the eShop, it's assigned to your Nintendo account. And if you're to buy one of these case digital download only code things for the Switch, that's tied to your account. But these game key cards don't require you to sign in or use an account at all. So you go to the shop, you buy one of these games that are on a game key card, you get your case, you open it up, it's got a lovely cartridge inside, and when you pop it in your Switch 2, it just downloads the game. There's no linking it to a Switch account, it's not tied to you. It doesn't recognize that you've used it. So you can then sell that cartridge on, give it to someone else, they can download it or put it in their Switch 2, and it will do the same thing. As far as I'm aware, it doesn't recognize that this game has been used. Obviously, you can't put it in your Switch 2, download the game, then give it to someone else, because you do need that physical cartridge, just like you would do a regular game cartridge if you wanted to play that game. But the only way you'd be able to give it to someone else is if you didn't want the game anymore. So it's in the middle of digital download and full physical cartridge. Same with a full physical cartridge. You put it in your game, in your Switch 2, and it plays it. But if you take that cartridge out and try and play the game, it won't do it. So the same with the game key cards. It's somewhere in the middle. It's not the full game, but it gives you something physical, and you need that physical cartridge to play the game. So it's to start with. When I looked at these game key cards, I was the same as everyone else. What a waste of time. You either give me a digital code or that's it. But I think these are actually a decent idea for now, anyway. Obviously, I would love all my games to be on a physical cartridge. So in the future, in like 10, 15 years, when the Switch store gets shut down and the Switch just doesn't really exist anymore, I can still play my games. It's always a worry with digital purchases. If you lose your account, that's your entire library gone. And B, what happens when all of these games that you've bought over the years, and then Nintendo have moved on to the Switch 4, 5, and they close down the store. Usually when they close down the store, you can still re-download your purchases for a short amount of time. But what happens when that stops? You have then lost an entire catalogue of your purchases. And it's going to be the same with the game key cards. Once those servers are switched off for the game to be downloaded, that's it. You're then stuck with a little plastic paperweight of nothing. The best thing you can do, the best way of preserving your games, is to buy a game on a physical cartridge that is all on there, and then you don't need Nintendo servers, strictly anyway. So yeah, let me know what you think about game key cards. This kind of halfway house for Switch 2 games. It's not a full game, but it's not a complete digital download. And I do like the fact that they're not tied to an account, just like a regular cartridge. There you go. Yep, early morning video. Thought I'd just get that out. That's something that I'd heard about these game key cards and wasn't massively impressed, but the fact that they're not tied to an account, I do quite like that. It gives them more of a physical and a less than a tied to a digital storefront kind of vibe to them. So let me know what you think. Nintendo Switch 2 game key cards, are they a good thing or are they not? Link, like, subscribe, enjoy.